believe it.
Salieri. They say.
I hear.
They
say. I don't believe it.
Salieri. The whole city is talking.
You hear it all over.
The cafe.
The opera.
The Prater.
The gutter.
They say even Metternich repeats it.
They say even Beethoven, his old pupil.
But why now?
After so long.
32 years.
I
don't
believe
believe
it.
it. Salieri. They say he shouts it out all day.
I hear he cries it out all night.
Stays in his apartment.
Never goes out.
Not for a year now.
Longer.
Must be 70.
Older.
Antonio Salieri.
Famous musician.
Shouting it aloud.
Crying it aloud.
Impossible.
Incredible.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
Salieri! I know who started the tale.
I know.
The old man's valet.
The old man's cook.
The valet, he hears him shouting.
The cook hears him cry.
What a story.
What a scandal.
But what does he say, your man?
What does he cry, the Kapellmeister?
Alone in his house.
All day and all night.
What sins does he
The
shout?
old fellow.
The recluse.
What wars have you heard? Tell us
at once. What does he cry? What does he cry? What does he cry? Mozart!
Perdonami, Mozart! Il tuo assassino ti chiede perdono!
Pardon, Mozart.
Pardon your assassin. God preserve us.
Pietà, Mozart! Mozart! Pietà!
Mercy, Mozart.
Mozart, have mercy.
He speaks in Italian when excited.
German when not.
Perdonami, Mozart.
Pardon your assassin.
There was talk once before, you know.
32 years ago.
When Mozart was dying.
He claimed he'd been poisoned.
Some said he accused the man.
Some said that man was Salieri.
But no one believed him.
They knew what he died of.
Syphilis, surely.
Like everybody else.
What if Mozart was right?
What if he really was murdered?
And by him, our first Kapellmeister.
Antonio Salieri.
Oh, it can't actually be true.
It's not possibly credible.
Because why?
Because why?
Why
on earth would he do it?
And why keep us now?
After 32 years.
Salieri! Salieri!
Mozart! Perdonami! Il tuo assassino ti chiede perdono!
What do you think?
What do you think?
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
All the same.
Is it just possible?
Did he do it after all? Salieri! Salieri!
Vi saluto, uomini del futuro! Antonio Salieri a vostro servizio. Almost see you in your ranks, waiting for your turn to live. Ghosts of the future, be visible. I beg you, be visible. Come to this dusty old room, this time the smallest hours of dark November, 1823, and be my confessors. Will you not enter this place and stay with me till dawn? Just till dawn. Till 6 o'clock. Did you hear that? Vienna is a city of slander. Everyone tells tales here, even my servant. I keep only 2 now. They've been with me ever since I first came 50 years ago. The keeper of the razor, the maker of the cakes. One keeps me tidy, the other keeps me full. Leave me, both of you. Tonight I do not go to bed at all. Return here tomorrow morning at 6 precisely to shave, to feed. Your capricious master. Be Grandson. How surprised they are. They'll be even more surprised tomorrow. Indeed they will. Oh, won't you appear? I need you desperately. This is now the last night of my life. Those about to die implore you. What must I do to make you visible? To raise you up in the flesh, to be my last audience. Does it take an invocation? That's how it's always done in opera. Oh yes, invocation. That's it, of course, the only way. Let me see if I can conjure you now, ghosts of the distant future, so I can see you. Ghosts of the future, shades of time to come, so much more unavoidable than those of time gone by. Appear with what sympathy incarnation may endow you. Appear you, the yet to be born, the yet to hate, the yet to kill. Appear posterity. Yeah, what? I can see. That is the result of proper training. I was taught invocation by Chevalier Gluck, who was a true master at it. But he had to be in his day. That is what people went to the opera for. The raising of God and ghosts. Nowadays, since Rossini has become the rage, they all prefer to watch the antics of hairdressers. Susan, I need refreshment. Invocation is an exhausting business. It's a little repellent, I admit, but actually, the first sin I have to confess to you is gluttony. Sticky gluttony at that. Infantile, Italian gluttony. The truth is that all my life I have never been able to conquer a lust for the sweetmeats of northern Italy, where I was born. From the ages of 3 to 73, my entire career has been conducted to the taste of almonds sprinkled with sifted sugar. Milanese biscuits, Sienna macaroons, snow dumplings with pistachio sauce. Do not judge me too harshly for this. All men have patriotic feelings of some sort. My parents were Italian subjects of the Austrian Empire. Our small-town merchant and his small-town wife. Their notion of place was the tiny town of Legnago, which I could not wait to leave. Their notion of God was a superior Habsburg emperor occupying a heaven only slightly further off than Vienna. All they asked of God was to keep him forever, unnoticed, preserved in mediocrity. My own requirements were wanted fame. Not to deceive you. I wanted to blaze like a comet across the firmament of Europe, yet in only one especial way. Music. Absolute music. A note of music is either right or wrong, absolutely. Not even time can alter that. Music is God's art. Already when I was 10, a spray of sounded notes would make me dizzy almost to falling. By 12, my one desire was to join all the composers who had celebrated God's glory through the long Italian past. Every Sunday I saw him in church, painted on the flaking wall, an old candle-smoked God in a mulberry robe, staring at the world with dealer's eyes. Tradesmen had put him up there. Those eyes made bargains, real and irreversible. You give me some, I'll give you some. No more, no less. One night, I went to see him and made a bargain with him myself. I was a sober 16, filled with a desperate sense of right. I knelt before my God of bargains and prayed with all my soul. Signore, let me be a composer. Grant me sufficient fame to enjoy it. In return, I will live with virtue. I will be chaste. I will strive to better the lot of my fellows, and I will honor you with much music all the days of my life. As I said, Amen, I saw his eyes flare. Burn! Go forth, Antonio. Serve me and mankind, and you will be blessed. Grazie! I'm called back. I am your servant for life. The very next day, a family friend suddenly appeared out of the blue, took me off to Vienna, and paid for me to study music. Shortly afterwards, I met the Emperor of Austria, who favored me and was to advance my career beyond all expectations. Clearly, my bargain had been accepted. The same year I left it, a young prodigy was touring Europe, a miraculous virtuoso, aged 10 years. Wolfgang Amadeus, Mozart. And now, gracious ladies, obliging gentlemen, may I present to you, for one performance only, my last composition, entitled The Death of Mozart. Or did I do it? Dedicated to posterity on this, the last night of my life. The place throughout is Vienna. The time, to begin with, 1781. The age, still that of the Enlightenment, that clear time before the guillotine fell in France and cut all our lives in half. 31. Already a prolific composer to the Austrian court, I am a respectable house and a respectable wife. Therese. I do not mock her, I assure you. I require only one quality in a domestic companion, lack of fire. And in that omission, Teresa was conspicuous. I also had a prize pupil, Caterina Cavalier, later to become the best singer of her age. She was a bubbling student with merry eyes and a sweet, eatable mouth. I was very much in love with Caterina, or I should say in lust. But because of my vow to God, I have never laid a finger on the girl, except occasionally to depress her diaphragm in the way of teaching her to sing. My ambition burned with an unquenchable flame. Its chief goal, the post of first royal Kapellmeister, then held by Giuseppe Bono, aged 70 years and apparently immortal. You, when you come, will be told that we musicians of the 18th century were no better than serfs, the willing slaves of the well-to-do. This is quite true. It is also quite false. Yes, we were servants, but we were learned servants, and we used our learning to celebrate men's average lives. We took unremarkable men, usual bankers, run-the-mill priests, ordinary soldiers and statesmen and wives, and sacramentalized their mediocrity. We smoothed their noons with strings of music. We pierced their nights with kitaline. We gave them processions for their strutting, serenades for their rutting, high horns for their hunting, and drums for their wars. Trumpets sounded when they entered the world. Trombones groaned when they left it. The savor of their days remains behind because of us. Our music is still remembered while their politics are long forgotten. So tell me, before you call us servants, who served whom? And who, may I ask, in your generations will immortalize you?
Sir! 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 Sir!
I was the most successful young musician in a city of musicians, and now suddenly, without warning,
Mozart!
Mozart!
Mozart has come!
These are my verticelli, my little whims, as I call them. The secret of successful living in a large city is to always know to the minute what is being done behind your back.
He's left Salzburg,
Needs to give concerts.
asking for subscribers.
I've known him for years, of course. Tales of his prowess were told all over Europe.
They say he wrote his first symphony at 5.
I hear his first concerto at 4.
A full opera at 14.
Mithradate, king of Pontus.
How old is he now?
25.
And how long is he remaining?
Well, he's not departing.
He means to stay.
You are required to commission a comic opera in German from Herr Mozart.
Johann von Strack, Royal Chamberlain. A court official to his collarbone.
Why in German? Italian is the only possible language for opera.
Count Orsini Rosenberg, director of the opera. Benevolent to all things Italian, especially myself.
The idea of a national opera is dear to His Majesty's heart. He desires to hear pieces in good, plain German.
Yes, but why comic? It is not the function of music to be funny.
Baron van Swieten, prefect of the Imperial Library, ardent Freemason, yet to find anything funny. Known for his enthusiasm for old-fashioned music as Lord Fugue.
I heard last week a remarkable serious opera from Mozart, suedamA, King of Crete.
I heard that too. A young man trying to impress beyond his abilities. Too much spice. Too many notes.
Nevertheless, kindly convey the commission to him today.
I believe we're going to have trouble with this young man. He was a child prodigy. That always means trouble. His father is Leopold Mozart, bad-tempered Salzburg musician, who dragged the boy endlessly around Europe, making him play the keyboard blindfold and one finger and that sort of thing. Oh, prodigies are hateful. Non è vero, compositore?
Divengono sempre sterili con le
Oh, precisamente.
What are you saying?
Nothing, Herr Chamberlain. Niente, signor Pomposo.
We meet tomorrow, I believe, on your committee to devise pensions for old musicians.
It is most gracious of you to attend, Baron.
You're a worthy man, Salieri. You should join our Brotherhood of Masons. We would welcome you warmly.
I would be honored, Baron.
If you wished, I could arrange initiation into my lodge.
That would be more than my due.
Nonsense. We embrace men of talent of all conditions. I may invite young Mozart also, dependent on the impression he makes.
Of course, Baron. Honor indeed. In those days, nearly every man of influence in Vienna was a Mason, and the Baron's lodge by far the most fashionable. As for young Mozart, I confess I was alarmed by his coming, not by the commission of a comic opera, even though I myself was then attempting one called the Tuning Suite. No, what worried me were reports of the man himself. He was praised altogether too much.
Such gaiety of spirit,
Such ease of man.
such natural charm.
Really? Where does he live?
Peter Plot.
Number 11.
The landlady is a Madame Weber.
Real bitch.
He takes in male lodgers and has a trial of daughters.
Mozart was engaged to one of them
A
before.
soprano named Aloysia. She jilted him. Now he's after another sister.
You mean he was actually engaged to one sister and now wants to marry another?
Exactly. Her mother's pushing marriage.
His father isn't.
Daddy is worried sick.
Writes him every day from Salzburg.
I want to meet him.
He'll be at the Baroness Fortstetten tomorrow night.
Some of his music is to be played.
Restiamo in contatto.
Certamente, signor.
So to the Baroness Fortstetten's I went. That night changed my life. I entered first the library to take a little refreshment. My generous hostess always gave out the most delicious confections in that room whenever she knew I was coming. Dolce, caramel, and most especially a miraculous crema al mascarpone. Which is simply cream cheese mixed with granulated sugar, suffused with rum. It is totally irresistible. I have just sat down in a high-backed chair to consume this paradisiac dish, unobservable as it might happen to anyone who might come in.
Oh, sorry. It's got to be.
I'm going to pounce. I'm going
Because I'd want everything backwards once I was married. I'd want to lick my wife's ass in her face!
We're not going to do anything at this rate. Your father's never going to give his consent to us.
And who cares about his consent?
You do. You care very much. You wouldn't do it without him.
Oh, wouldn't I?
No, you wouldn't. Because you're too scared of him. I know what he said about me. If you marry that dreadful girl, you'll end up lying on straw with beggars for children.
Marry me!
Don't be silly.
Marry me!
Are you serious?
Oh, yes! Answer me this minute, yes or no. Say yes, that I can go home, climb into bed, sting over the mattress, and shout, I did it!
Her ladyship is ready to command.
Yes, good.
Mozart.
Oh, my dear, the music waits.
By all means.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Herr Trotzum.
I heard it first.
The rock star of his age,
Some
Mozart.
serenade, only vaguely too horrified to attend. Presently, the sound insisted. The sound of adagio in E flat. Started simply, just a pulse in the lower registers. Bassoons and bass chords, like a rusty squeeze box. Would have been comic, except for the slowness which gave it its some sort of serenity. And then suddenly, high above it, sounded a single note on the oboe. Hungry, piercing through, too bright to hold no longer. And a clarinet withdrew it out of me and sweetened it into a phrase of such delight. It had me trembling. My eyes clouded. The lights flickered in the room. The squeeze box groaned louder, and over it the higher instruments wailed and warbled, throwing lines of sound around me, long lines of pain around and through me. Oh, the pain! Pain as I had never known it! I called up to my shop, oh God! What is this? What? But the squeeze box went on, and the pain cut deeper and deeper into my shaking head until suddenly I was running, stumbling down the stairs, dashing through the side door out into the street, into the cold night, gasping for life. What is this? What? Tell me, Signore, what is this pain? What is this need in the sound? Forever unfulfillable, yet fulfilling him who hears it utterly. Is it your need? Can it be yours? Dimly the music sounded from the salon above. Dimly the stars shone down on the empty streets. I was suddenly frightened. It seemed as if I had heard a voice of God, and that it issued from a creature whose own voice I had also heard. And it was the voice of an obscene child. I ran home and buried my fear in work. More pupils, there were 30 and 40. More committees toiling long hours to help musicians. More motets and anthems to God's glory. And every night I prayed for just one thing. Let your voice enter me. your conduct? Let me? As for Mozart, I avoided meeting him and sent out my little winds for whatever scores of his could be found.
6 forte piano sonatas composed in Munich.
Clever.
Two in my mind.
They were all clever,
Parisian Symphony.
yet they seemed to me completely empty.
A divertimento in D.
Same.
A Cassazione in G.
Conventional.
A grand litany in E flat.
Even boring. A production of a precocious youngster. Nothing more. Leopold Mozart's swanky son. That serenade had obviously been an exception in his work. The sort of accident which might happen to any composer on a lucky day. Had I been simply taken by surprise that the filthy creature could write music at all? Suddenly I felt immensely cheered. I would seek him out and welcome him myself to Vienna.
Pets and fireworks! Gentlemen, Mozart is here. He's waiting below.
Majesty.
Je suis follement impatient.
The Emperor, Joseph II of Austria, son of Maria Theresa, brother of Marie Antoinette, adorer of music, provided it made no demands on the royal ears. Majesty, I have written a little march in Mozart's honor. May I play it as he comes in?
By all means, court composer. What a delightful idea. Have you met him yet?
Not yet, Majesty.
Pets and fireworks. Strong, bring him up at once. Mon Dieu! I wish we could have a competition. Mozart against some other virtuoso. 2 keyboards in contest. Wouldn't that be fun, Baron?
Not to me, Majesty. In my view, musicians are not horses. We run against one another.
Oh, well, there it is. Herr Mozart, Majesty. Ah, splendid. Court composer, allons. Admit him, please.
Mozart.
Majesty!
Mom, do you know this guy?
Mozart.
Majesty! Oh, your Majesty's humble slave! Let me kiss your royal hand 100,000 times!
No, s'il vous plaît, a little less enthusiasm, I beg you. Come, sir, let me move. You will not recall it, but the last time we met, you were also on the floor. My sister remembers it to this day. This young man, all of 6 years old, mind you, slipped on the floor at Schoenbrunn. Shame on the nasty burner of his little head. Have I told you this before? No, Majesty. Well, my sister Antoinette runs forward and picks him up herself. And you know what he does? Jumps into her arms, hoopla, just like that, kisses her on both cheeks and says, "Will you marry me, yes or no?" I do not mean to embarrass you, Herr Mozart. You know everyone here, surely.
Oh, yes, sire. Herr Director. Herr Prefect.
But not, I think, our esteemed court composer, a most serious omission. No one who cares for art can afford not to know Herr Salieri. He wrote that exquisite little march of welcome for you.
It's a trifle, Majesty.
Nevertheless,
I'm overwhelmed, signore.
ideas simply pour out of him, don't they, Strong?
Endlessly, sire. Well done, Salieri.
Let it be my pleasure, then, to introduce you. Court composer Salieri, Herr Mozart of Salzburg.
Finalmente. Che gioia, che diletto straordinario.
Oh, grazie, signore! 1000 milioni di benvenuti! Sono commosso! È un onore eccezionale incontrarla! Compositore, brillante e famosissimo!
Grazie.
Tell me, Mozart, have you received the commission for the opera?
Oh, indeed I have, Majesty! I am so grateful I can hardly speak! I swear to you that you will have the best, the most perfect entertainment ever offered a monarch! I've already found a libretto!
Adieu. I didn't hear of this.
Forgive me, Herr Director, I entirely omitted to tell you.
May I ask why?
It didn't seem very important.
Not important.
Not really, no.
It is important to me, Herr Mozart.
Yes, I see that, of course.
And who prays it by?
Stephanie!
A most unpleasant man.
Oh, but a brilliant writer!
What do you think?
The story is really amusing, Majesty. The whole plot is set in a...
Where is it set?
It's rather saucy, Majesty.
Yes, where?
Well, it's actually set in a seraglio.
Of what?
A Pasha's harem!
And you imagine that to be a suitable subject for performance at the National Theatre?
Oh, yes! No! Yes, yes, I do. Why not? It's very funny. It's amusing. On my honor, Majesty, there's nothing offensive in it. No, nothing offensive in the world. It's full of proper German virtues, I swear it.
Scusate, signor. But what are those? Being a foreigner, I'm not sure.
You are being cattivo, court composer.
Not at all, Majesty.
Come then, Mozart. Name us a proper German virtue.
Love, sire. I have yet to see that expressed in any opera.
Well answered, Mozart.
Scusate. But I was under the impression that one rarely saw anything else expressed in opera.
I mean manly love, signore, not male sopranos screeching or stupid couples rolling their eyes, all that absurd Italian rubbish. I mean the real thing.
And do you know the real thing yourself, Herr Mozart?
Under your pardon, I think I do, Majesty.
Bravo! And when do you think it will be done?
The first act is already finished.
But it can't be more than 2 weeks since you started.
Composing is not hard when you have the right audience to please, sire.
A charming reply, Majesty.
Indeed, Baron. Fêtes and fireworks. I see we are going to have fêtes and fireworks. Au revoir, Monsieur Mozart. Soyez bienvenue à la cour.
Oh, Majesté, je suis complet d'honneur d'être accepté dans la maison du père de tous les musiciens. Servir mon monopole suppléé de 10 sur le monde de votre Majesté, c'est un honneur qui dépasse les sommets de l'étude.
Ah, well, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, get a better acquaintance.
Good day, Majesty.
Oh, votre Majesté.
There it is. No, goddamn.
Good day to you.
Good day.
Welcome, Mozart. I shall see much more of you, depend on it.
Oh, thank you. Bene.
I too wish you success with your opera.
Oh, I will have it. It's going to be superb. I must tell you, I've already found the most excellent singer for the leading part.
Oh, who is that?
Her name is Cavalieri. Oh, Caterina Cavalieri. She's really German, but she thinks it will advance her career if she sports an Italian name.
She's quite right. It was my idea. She is, in fact, my prize pupil. Actually, she's a very innocent child. Silly in the way of young singers, but you know she's only 20. I had kept my hands off Catalina, yes, but I could not bear to think of anyone else's upon her. Least of all his.
Frankie, you're a good fellow, Salieri. And that's a jolly little thing you wrote for me.
It was my pleasure.
Let's see if I can remember it. May I?
Why, of course, it's yours.
Oh, grazie, signore.
remarkable memory.
Oh, grazie ancora, signore. It doesn't really work, that fourth, does it? Let's try the third above. Oh, yes! Good.
Se verde trovando il riposo, narcise vicino d'amor. Cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar. Cherubino alla vittoria, alla gloria militar. Alla gloria militar, alla gloria militar.
Scusate, I must go.
Why don't you try a variation?
Thank you. I must attend on the Emperor. Ah, it has been delightful to meet you.
Oh, for me too. And thanks for the march.
Was it then so early that I began to have thoughts of murder? At least not in life. In art, it was quite a different matter. I decided I would compose a huge tragic opera, something to astonish the world. And I knew my theme. I would set the legend of Denius, who for a monstrous crime was chained to a rock for all eternity, his head repeatedly struck by lightning. Wickedly, I saw Mozart in that position. In reality, the man was in no danger from me at all. Not yet. The first performance of the abduction from a Serrano, the German expression of manly love. He himself contrived to wear for the occasion an even more vulgar coat than usual. As for the music, it matched the coat completely. For my dear pupil Caterina Cavalieri, he had written quite simply the showiest aria I've ever heard. What Mozart must have demanded in return for it. Although engaged to be married, he'd had her. I knew that beyond any doubt. The creature had had my darling girl.
You're an ornament to our state.
Well done, Lottie, well done. Pussy. Excuse me.
Majesty, may I present my fiancée, Fräulein Weber.
Enchanté.
Constance is a singer herself.
Indeed.
I'm not at all nasty. Don't be silly, Wolfgang.
So, Mozart, a good effort. Decidedly that, a good effort.
Oh, did you really like it, sire?
I thought it was most interesting. A trifle, how shall one say? Well,
Too many notes, Your Majesty.
very well put. Too many notes.
I don't understand.
My dear fellow, don't take it too hard. There are, in fact, only so many notes the ear can hear in the course of an evening. I think I'm right in saying that, aren't I, court composer?
Well, I would say, yes. On the whole, yes. Yes, Your Majesty.
There you are. It's clever, it's German, it's quality work. And there are too many notes. Do you see?
There are just as many notes. Majesty, neither more nor less is required.
Oh, well, there it is.
Herr Salieri,
Yes.
is he angry?
Not at all. He respects you for your views.
Oh, I hope so. What did you think yourself, sir? Did you care for the piece at all?
Oh, yes, of course, Mozart. At its best, it is truly charming.
And at other times?
Well, just occasionally at other times. In Caterina's aria, for example, it is just a little excessive.
Catalina's an excessive girl. In fact, she's insatiable. I mean, in regard to vocal organs.
Also, as my revered teacher, the Chevalier Gluck, used to say, one must avoid music that smells of music.
What does that mean?
Music which makes one aware too much of the virtuosity of the composer.
Gluck is absurd!
What do you say?
No, he's spent all his life about modernizing opera, but creates people so lofty they sound as though they shit marble. Yeah, no, but it's too much. Gluck says, Chevalier Gluck. What Chevalier? I'm a Chevalier. The Pope made me a Chevalier when I was still wetting my bed. Anyway, it's ridiculous. Only stupid farts use titles.
Such as court composer.
What? Oh. Well, my father's right again. He always tells me I should padlock my mouth. Actually, I shouldn't speak at all.
Nonsense. I'm just being what the Emperor would call captive. Won't you introduce me to your charming fiancée?
Oh, of course. Constanza, this is Herr Court Composer Salieri. Fräulein Weber.
Beloved, God, Fräulein.
How do you do, Excellency?
You are the sister of Aloysia Weber, the soprano, are you not?
Yes, I am, Excellency.
A beauty herself, but you surpass her by far, if I may observe so.
Thank you.
May I ask, when you married?
We have to secure my father's consent. He's an excellent man, a wonderful man, but in some ways a little stubborn.
Excuse me, how old are you?
26.
Well, then, your father's consent is scarcely indispensable.
You think? No, it's not indispensable.
My advice to you is to marry and be happy. You have found it is quite obvious. Un tesoro raro.
Oh, Tom, very much.
Good night to you. Both.
Good night, Excellency.
Good night, sir. And thank you. Come, Stenzel.
As I watched her walk away on the arm of the creature, I thought, strike have her for Kakadu. Abomination! Never in my life did I entertain a notion so sinful.
They're married.
What?
Mozart and Weber married.
Really?
His father will be furious. They didn't even wait for his consent.
Have they set up house in Wittlingerstrasse?
Number 12.
Oh, not bad.
Considering they've no money,
Is that really true? Oh, he's wildly extravagant.
it's way beyond his means.
But he has pupils. Only 3. Why so few?
He's embarrassing. Makes scenes. Makes enemies. Even struck when he cultivates.
Chamberlain struck.
Only last night. Kapellmeister Bonham.
7 months in this city and not one job. I'm not to be tried again, is that it?
Of course it isn't.
I know what goes on, and so do you. Vienna is completely in the hands of foreigners. Worthless swabs like Kapellmeister Bonham.
Please, you're ignorant.
Smart composer Salieri. Did you see his last opera, The Chimney Sweep? Did you?
Of course I did.
Dog shit! My dog shit!
I beg your pardon.
Pom, 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 pom. Tonic and dominant Maria resurrection. Not one interesting modulation all night. Salieri's a musical idiot.
Please, he had too much to drink.
He often has.
Why are Italians so terrified by the slightest complexity in music? Show them one chromatic passage and they faint. Oh, how sick! How morbid! Morboso! Nervoso! Oh, hey! No wonder the music at this court is so dreary!
Lower your voice.
Lower your breeches! That's just a joke! Just a joke! Oh, I look like a toad. I need a dog to look like a toad. Ribbit. It's best to retire tonight, for your own sake. Salieri has 50 pupils. I have 3. How am I to live? I'm a married man now. Of course, I realize you concern yourself with money in these exalted circles. All this saying, did you know behind his back, His Majesty is known as Kaiser Keepit Mozart? I shouldn't have said that, should I? Forgive me. It was just a joke. Another joke. Ow! I can't help myself. We're all friends here, aren't we? What's wrong with him?
Good night.
No, please. Your hand, please, first. Give me a post, sir.
That is not in my power, Mozart.
The Princess Elizabeth is looking for an instructor. One word from you could secure it for me.
I regret that is solely on the recommendation of court composer Salieri.
No! Do you know I am better than any musician in Vienna? Do you? No! The devil take the lot of them! Nothing but cabals and cliques everywhere you look! What's here for an honest German fellow? The girl who doesn't like me, the girl who doesn't like me, the girl who doesn't like me can lick my ass instead.
Barely 1 month later, that thought of revenge had become more than thought.
Angela, you got the phone.
You have to.
It's the game!
Once again, believe it or not, I was in the same concealing chair in the Baroness' library, and consuming the same delicious dessert.
You lost, now there's the penalty.
A party celebrating the New Year's Eve. I was on my own, my dear spouse Teresa visiting her parents in Italy.
What is what? What is it?
I want to measure your cat.
Definitely not, you cheeky bugger!
Oh, now, come on.
You have to spend too long staring up and
No, it isn't, so you can vote for us all!
If you don't let me, you won't be allowed to play again.
Choose something else!
I've chosen that. Now, come on. Get up on the table.
For everyone's sake,
Quick. Ali! Hold your fingers.
I don't have to be held.
that's part of the penalty.
Stop it! Stop that! What was that?
17 inches, knee to aim. Oh, let me, Carl, you hold it.
That's not fair.
Yes, it is.
It's
You lost
been
your
cut now. Let me go.
Carl!
Costanza! Gentlemen, if you please!
It's only a game, Corporal.
We meant no harm, upon my word.
Come down off the table, please. Thank you. We'll see you later.
Oh, now look, Mozart, don't be awful.
Please excuse us now. Do you realize what you've done?
No. What?
Just lost your reputation, that's all. You're now a loose girl.
Don't be so
You're
stupid.
a married woman, for God's sake!
What?
A young wife does not allow her legs to be handled in public. Can you at least amend your own ugly legs?
Of course they're not as good as Aloysia's, my sister, and perfect legs. We all know that.
Do you know what you've done? You shamed me. That's all shamed
Don't
me.
be so ridiculous.
Shamed me in front of them.
Shame you? That's a laugh. If there's any shame around one, it's mine.
What do you mean?
You've only had every pupil who ever came to you.
That's not true.
Every single female pupil.
No, name them. Name them.
The only one.
No.
The Rubeck girl. Katerina Cavalieri, that sly little whore. And she wasn't even your pupil. She was Salieri's. Which actually, my dear, maybe when he has hundreds and you have none, he doesn't drag them all into bed.
Of course he doesn't. He can't get it up. That's why. Have you heard his music? That is the sound of someone who can't get it up. At least I can that. No one ever said I couldn't do that. Costanza, don't cry. Oh, please don't cry. You're nervous when you cry. I just didn't want you to look cheap in people's eyes, that's all. Here. Beat me. Beat me. I'm your slave. Stanzi Marie. Stanzi Marie, BG. I'll just stand here like a little lamb and bear your strokes. Bah. Here, do it! Fatti, io tesoro. Stanzi Wanzi digging stop it. Stanzi Wanzi had a fit. Shit her stays and made them split. Stop it! When they took away her skirt, Stanzi Wanzi ate the dirt.
You stop it now!
I cast myself at your stinking feet, Madonna!
Excellency.
How long have you been there?
I was asleep until a second ago. Are you two quarreling?
No, of course not.
Yes, we are. He's been very irritated.
God, no head. This is the night for New Year's resolutions. Irritating, lovely ladies cannot surely be one of yours. May I suggest you bring us each a sorbet from the dining room?
But why don't we all go to the table?
Salieri is quite right. Bring him here. It'll be your punishment.
Stacey?
Come, I can keep your wife company. There cannot be a better peace offering than a sorbet to a ballroom.
I prefer tangerine.
Very well, tangerine, but if you could possibly manage almonds for me, I'd be deeply So the new year can begin coolly for all three of us.
I'm honored, signore. Of course. And then I'll play your billiards. What do you say?
I'm afraid I don't play.
Oh,
You don't?
Coco would rather play the billiards than anything. He's very good at it.
Oh, I'm the best! I very nod occasionally composing, but at billiards, never.
A virtuoso of the hero.
Exactly. It's a virtuoso's game. I think I shall write a grand fantasia for billiard balls. Trinos, accacciatoras, whole arpeggios in ivory. And then I'll play it myself in public. It'll have to be me because none of those Italian charlatans like Clementi will be able to get his fingers round the cue. Scusate, signore.
He's a love, really.
And lucky too in you. You are, if I may say so, an astonishing creature.
Me? Ah, very much.
Your husband, on the other hand, does not appear to be so thriving.
We're desperate, sir.
What?
We've no money and no prospects of any, that's the truth.
Well, I don't understand. He gives many public concerts.
They don't pay enough. What he needs is pupils, illustrious pupils. His father calls us spendthrifts, but that's unfair. I manage as well as anyone could. There's simply not enough. Don't tell him I talked to you, please.
This is solely between us. How can I help?
My husband needs security, sir. If only he could find regular employment, everything would be all right. Is there nothing at court?
Nothing at present.
The Princess Elizabeth needs a tutor.
Really? I hadn't heard.
One word from you and the post would be his. Other pupils would follow at once.
He's coming back.
Please, Excellency, you can't imagine what difference it would make.
Speak of this now.
Women, please!
Can you come and see me tomorrow? Alone?
I can't.
I'm a married
All
man.
the same.
When does he work?
Afternoon.
Then come at 3.
I can't possibly.
In his interest. Yes or no? So I done it. Spoken aloud. Invited her. And what of this vow made in church? Virtue, chastity, all of that. What did she think of me? This careful Italian, sincere friend, or hopeful seducer? Would she come? I have no idea. And if she did, how would I behave? I had no idea of that either. The next afternoon, I waited in a fever. Was I actually going to seduce a young wife of 2 months' standard? Part of me, much of me, wanted it badly. Badly, yes. Badly was the word. There she was. On the stroke. She'd come. She'd come. Grazie. Grazie tante. Via.
Frau Mozart.
Signora. Benvenuta. Grazie. Well, you have come.
I should not have done. My husband would be frantic if he knew. He's a very jealous man.
Are you a jealous woman?
Why do you ask?
It's not a passion I understand. You're even prettier than you were last evening, if I may say so.
Ah, very nice. I brought you some manuscripts by Wolfgang. When you see them, you'll understand how right he is for a royal appointment. Will you look at them, please, while I wait?
You mean now?
Yes, I have to take them back with me. He'll miss them otherwise. He doesn't make copies. He's with all the originals.
Sit down. Let me offer you something special.
What's that?
Capezzoli di Venere. Nipples of Venus. Roman chestnuts in brandied sugar. Oh, do try. They were made especially for you.
Me?
Yes.
Well, then I'd better
are.
I couldn't possibly.
I think you are the most generous girl in all the world.
Generous.
That's my name for you. I thought last night Constanza is altogether too stiff a name for that girl. I shall be christening her Generosa, La Generosa. And then I will write a glorious song for her under that title, and she will sing it just for me.
My sister's the singer, sir.
La Generosa. Don't tell me it's going to prove inaccurate. My name for you.
What name do you give your wife, Excellency?
I am not an excellency, and I call my wife Signora Sayer. If I were to name her anything else, it would be La Stacchia. She's a very upright lady.
Is she here now? I'd like to meet her.
Alas, no. At the moment, she's visiting her mother in Verona, Constanza. Tomorrow evening, I dine with the Emperor. One word from me recommending your husband as tutor to the Princess Elizabeth, and that invaluable post is his. Believe me, when I speak to the Emperor in matters musical, no one contradicts me.
I believe you.
Now, surely service of that sort deserves a little recompense in return.
How little?
The size of a kiss.
Just one.
If one seems fair to you. Does it?
I fancy that's fairness enough.
Pity. It is somewhat small pay to secure a post every musician in Vienna is hoping for.
What do you mean?
Is it not clear?
No, not at all.
Another pity. 1,000 pities.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
What?
Did you say?
I said nothing. What did I say?
No,
Constance,
I can't have this.
Constance, listen to me. I'm a clumsy man. You think me sophisticated. I'm not at all. Take a true look. I've no cunning. I live on ink and sweetmeats. I never see women at all. When I met you last night, I envied Mozart from the depths of my soul. Out of that envy came stupid thoughts. For one silly second, I dared imagine that out of the vast store you obviously possess, you might spare me one coin of tenderness your rich husband does not need, and inspire me also. I am amused.
Mozart was right. You are wicked.
He said that?
Oh, wise are foreigners, he said. Be very careful with that. Meaning you. Oh, he was being comic, of course.
Of course.
No, not that comic, actually. I mean, you are acting a pretty obvious role, aren't you, dear? A small town boy, and all the time as clever as cutlets. Aww, you are sulky. Oh. When Mozart insults, I smack his body. He rather likes it. Do you want me to scold you then and smack your body too?
How dare you, you silly, common girl! Forgive me. Let us confine our talk to your husband. He is a brilliant keyboard player, no question, but the Princess Elizabeth also requires a tutor in vocal music. I am not convinced he is the man for that. I would like to look at these pieces you have brought
and decide if he is mature. I will study them overnight. You will study my proposal. Not to be vague. That is the price. Good afternoon. Fiasco! Fiasco! The sordidness of it! The sheer sweating sordidness! Worse than if I'd actually done it! To be so much in sin and to feel so ridiculous as well. Would she come again? Never! And if she did, what would I do? What would I actually do? Apologize profoundly? Or try again? Oh, no, Nobile Sayere! What had he done to me, this Mozart? Before he came, did I behave like this? Toy with adultery? Blackmail women? It was all going, slipping, growing rotten because of him. She had said that these were his original scores. First and only drafts to music. Yet they looked like fair copies. They showed no corrections of any kind. It was puzzling. And then suddenly alarming. What was clear was that Mozart was simply transcribing music already finished in his head. And finished, as most music is never finished. Displace one note, and there would be diminishment. Displace one phrase, and the structure would fall. Here again, only now in abundance, were the same sounds I heard in the library. The same crushed harmonies, glancing collisions, agonizing delights. The truth was clear. That serenade had been no accident. I was staring through the cage of those meticulous ink strokes at an absolute beauty.
Peace go. I know my fate. Now, for the first time, I feel my emptiness. The way Adam felt his nakedness. Tonight, at an inn somewhere in this city, there stands a giggling child who can put on paper, without actually setting down his billiard cue, casual notes which turn my most considered ones into lifeless scratches. Grazie, signore. You gave me the desire to serve you, which most men do not have. Then saw to it that the service was shameful in the ear of the servant. Grazie. You gave me the desire to praise you, which most do not feel. Then made me mute. Grazie. Tante. You put into me perception of the incomparable, which most men never know, then ensured that I would know myself forever mediocre. Why? What is my fault? Until this day, I have pursued virtue with rigor. I have labored long hours to aid my fellow man. I have worked and worked. The talent you have allowed me, you know how hard I've worked. Solely that in the end, in the pursuit of the art, which alone makes the world comprehensible to me, I might hear your voice. And now, I do hear it. And it says only one name, Mozart. Spiteful, sniggering, conceited, infantine Mozart, who never worked 1 minute to help his fellow man. Shit-talking Mozart with his body-smacking wife. Him you choose to be your sole conduct, while my only reward, my sublime privilege, is to be the sole man alive in this time who shall fully recognize your incarnation. So be it. From this time we are enemies, you and I. I'll not accept it from me. Do you hear? They say God is not mocked. I say man is not mocked. I am not mocked. They say the spirit bloweth when it listeth. I tell you no. It must list to virtue or not blow at all. Dio injusto. You are the enemy. I name thee now. Nemico eterno. And this I swear. To my last breath, I shall block you on this earth as far as I am able. What use, after all, is man, if not to teach God his lessons? And now, before I tell you what happened next, God's answer to me, and indeed Constance's, and all the horrors that followed, let me stop. The bladder, being a human appendage, is not something you ghosts need concern yourselves with. Yet, I, being alive, although barely, am at its constant call.
When I return, I will tell you about the war I waged with God through his preferred creature, Mozart, named Amadeus. In the waging of which, of course, the creature had to be destroyed